Home designs have changed a lot over the years, from milk doors to sleeping porches. These things were pretty normal in the past. So let's take a look and discover together what life was like in America's golden years and revisit 10 old home features that have faded into history. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. 1. Console TVs. Do you remember your old console televisions? Those were something. They were nothing like the sleek screens we have today. They were like giant wooden boxes with a TV inside, sometimes even looking like a fancy piece of furniture. You might find family photos, potted plants, or even an aquarium on top of them. These color TVs were the stars of living rooms all over America. They took up a ton of space, but they were the heart of the house. After World War II, color TVs came along and changed everything about home entertainment. Families were really excited about this new technology. When families gathered around these TVs for evening shows, it brought everyone together and created special moments that people remember even today. Times have changed, and old console televisions are a fond memory. 2. Milk doors. Back in the day, before we had all these big supermarkets, automobile technology wasn't advanced enough to supply them, so we relied on having milk delivered straight to our homes. Instead of going to the store for milk, we had the milkman. You know, the guy who'd bring fresh milk right to your doorstep. Those were the days. You would leave your empty milk bottles outside, and he would exchange them for full ones. To make the delivery easier, milk doors were created. They were small doors found on the sides of some American houses. They were used for this fresh milk delivery, allowing the milkman to leave the milk bottles without needing to enter the house. So there were actually 2 doors, one on the inside and one on the outside, with a space cut in the wall between them. The idea was that they had to be tall enough for milk bottles to fit through, but not big enough for someone to sneak through. It's fascinating to see how an old idea can be adapted for modern times. I read about this idea recently. They were talking about bringing back those old milk doors for package deliveries. What do you all think? 3. Living rooms. Let's take a moment to discuss something nostalgic about those old home features. The living room, or maybe you called it the parlor room. What did your family call it? It was the primary family gathering space in many old homes in the United States. Depending on the time period, this room could be used for formal occasions, hosting guests, events, funerals, or simply as a place for relaxation and socialization. Before television took center stage in home entertainment, the focal point of the living room was often the radio. Families gathered around the receiver, listening to the latest news, thrilling dramas, and variety shows. With the advent of television, living rooms transformed into stages for televised dramas and live historical events. TVs back then were nothing like the ones we have today. They were smaller, and sitting up close offered a better view. Anyone else remember those days? 4. Sleeping porches. Another mysterious home feature no longer used is the sleeping porch. It was a cool feature in houses way back at the start of the 20th century. You see, back then, health professionals believed sleeping outside could make you healthier, so lots of houses had these porches where you could snooze under the stars. And let me tell you, it wasn't just about health. It was also a great way to beat the heat during those hot summer nights. Did any of you ever get to stay in a house with one of these? For most of us, such features now exist only in memories of visits. 5. Transom windows. Transom windows were small windows located above doors. You'll still find those panels of glass on old homes. This seemingly decorative feature of older homes was actually quite practical before electricity became the norm. They were designed to allow air circulation and let in natural light between rooms, even when the doors were closed. Who doesn't like sunlight from outside? Some doors that have transom windows move in a special way to let air in and keep things private at the same time. It's not as common now because we have electric lights that brighten up our rooms easily. But even now, you can still find them in newer homes, mostly as a design thing. They add a touch of charm, especially above front doors, if you ask me. And if you enjoy content like this, don't forget to subscribe to receive more. 6. Razor slit in medicine cabinet. Oh, those little slots were pretty common in old house bathrooms. Bathrooms in older homes often had a recessed medicine cabinet that fit snugly between two wall studs. Below the cabinet floor, concealed behind the wall, was a designated space known as a blade bank. They were used for disposing of used razor blades directly into the wall. Can you believe it? People would just drop them in there, and they'd disappear into the wall, out of sight. It was a convenient way to get rid of them. This feature became obsolete with the introduction of disposable safety razors. Stashes of discarded blades are still being uncovered during bathroom renovations in these vintage homes. Ever come across something like that during home improvements? 7. Ice boxes. Before electric refrigerators, we used to have these things called ice boxes to keep our food fresh. Anyone here remember using one back in the day? Homes had an area in the pantry or kitchen dedicated to them. Made mostly of wood and insulated with cork or other materials, they had this special compartment where you'd put the ice to keep everything cool. They were like the coolers of their time, you know? The ice for these boxes, well, that came from lakes and rivers, harvested during the winter months, stored in ice houses, and then brought right to our doorsteps by the iceman. Can you believe that was a real job? The kids were always running after that old horse-drawn ice wagon, hoping to grab some ice to cool down when it got super hot outside. Now, let's not overlook the mysterious door at the back of the house. Have you ever wondered where it leads? That door was where the iceman used to deliver fresh ice. Who remembers those days? 8. Laundry chute. You know, there were some cool inventions back in the day that really made life easier and added a nice touch to our homes. But there's one thing that I think we should bring back because it could save us a lot of hassle. Laundry chutes. They were built in tubes in the walls of houses to make it easy to toss dirty clothes directly into the laundry room, usually located in the basement. The laundry would fall into the basement, where a laundry cart or basket would be waiting to catch them. Wouldn't it be awesome to have those back? Let me know your thoughts. 9. Pittsburgh Potty. Speaking of basements, the Pittsburgh Potty was an additional bathroom found in many homes in Pittsburgh, USA, especially in basements. It was installed without lining or finishing and was used as a practical and functional bathroom. Legend has it that back in the day, steel workers and miners would come home from work all dirty, so they'd clean up in the basement before heading upstairs. That way, they wouldn't track dirt into the rest of the house. 10. Phone niche. Back in the old days, before we had those tiny phones we carry everywhere, we had landline telephones. But they weren't small like today's phones. They were big and had to stay plugged into the wall all the time. And they didn't have fancy stuff like YouTube or a screen to dial numbers. Because they were so heavy, they needed a special spot in the house to sit. Some homes even had spaces in the walls just for them. It was pretty common to have these little spaces built into the walls for putting your phone. You'd usually find them in hallways, kitchens, or bedrooms. Some people still have them in their homes today. If you've got a landline phone, it's a handy spot to keep it. Others use it for storing mail or showing off pretty plants. From obsolete to useful, there are plenty of unique features found in old homes, right? Now that you've seen the purposes of these old features, did you recall at least one of these 10? Share your memories with us in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the memories in this video, we've got another one lined up for you. Just click to check it out and discover more awesome content on our channel. See you there.